this is Grace from NFP Connect, and I am here with Shane Connell, the Regional Manager for Cancer Council, doing Celebrating Services. Welcome, Shane.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about Cancer Council and what you do for our region.
Look, Cancer Council is just the best place in the world. Honestly, it is amazing. We are a charity. Not many people know that, actually. A lot of people think that we're government funded. But we are a charity that's for all cancers, for all people. We've been around for about 60 years. I've been here for 12 of those years, which has been really great. And I guess our mission is a cancer-free future. Very simple. So 1 in 2 people will be diagnosed with cancer by the age of 75. And we'd like that to be a speed bump, not a death sentence.
This office is the Hunter and Central Coast office. Tell us a little bit about the region and how you support our region.
Okay, so this is our main office here in Charlestown for Newcastle. We have an office that services the Upper Hunter based in Singleton, and we're also at Arrowna Fair for the Central Coast. So we have sites as well at major hospitals. So we have Cancer Council information centres at the Mater, Adelaide Macquarie Private, at Wyong, North Gosford and Gosford, Central. And of course transport services and other associated services really throughout the whole region. So Hunter Central Coast, I guess, is our patch, and it's really important for us that we not only demonstrate that we're having an impact locally, so that people local can come into an office and feel like they're talking to someone who knows, what they're going through, but also that all the money that's raised and fundraised can stay local as well.
And that's really important. I know that being a fundraiser, lots of the community want to know that the money stays locally, and that's the point of what we're doing. So can you tell us a bit about how Cancer Council is supported by the community?
So look, in a whole range of ways. Obviously fundraising is the first one that people think of. We are fortunate to be supported by people who run their own fundraising events. We run events like Relay for Life, Australia's Biggest Morning Tea, Daffodil Day, Pink Ribbon. But a lot of people who just donate regularly, people who give through a tax appeal, people who give as part of their pay. And really, for a lot of people that we deal with, obviously, whether or not they're running a bowls day or an annual sailing regatta for us, or just putting a team into Relay for Life. Often people who donate to Cancer Council do it in honour of someone that they're trying to support, or because they've been through a cancer journey themselves. The other main way that people support Cancer Council is through volunteering. We are what we say volunteer-led. So we've got a very small amount of staff, but around 400 volunteers locally, and about tens of thousands of volunteers across the state. What we say is that people don't volunteer for us. They don't volunteer for Cancer Council. Volunteers in our community, particularly in the Hunter, are Cancer Council. So they make decisions. Our board of directors are volunteers. Really, Cancer Council is the community's response to cancer. It's how we fight back. So that's how people support us, and we're really lucky to have volunteers that do things like driving people to treatment, supporting people in support groups, even volunteers, at local law firms who provide pro bono assistance for people who need wills and probate and any kind of legal advice around cancer as well. Our advocacy program is really all run by volunteers as well. So when you think about Cancer Council, we cover the whole spectrum of cancer control, from very primary prevention, early detection, before cancer even is an issue. So teaching kids in schools about SunSmart or healthy eating through the Eat to Beat program, right through to research across the whole spectrum, and then support services locally, and then, of course, advocacy. So the people who lobby government around cancer control issues are volunteers. Everything we do is run by volunteers.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Cancer Council is a really big organisation, and it's got, it's very well known. So what are some stigmas that I guess you find from the community, or that people don't realise that you do in supporting the community and people?
Yeah, look, a lot of people think that Cancer Council sells sunscreen. That really, whereas Slip Slop Slap was so successful in the early 80s. I think that's what we're best known for. So the biggest thing right here is people often say to us, "I had no idea that you do so much," which is particularly difficult if we're talking about cancer patients and carers, because we want people to know exactly what we do so that they can access the help they need when they need it. So for instance, just in our practical support area, we provide almost everything that you would need upon a cancer diagnosis that's not about the treatment. So if you need help to get to hospital, we can get you there free through our transport services. If you need to go away and travel, and you need accommodation not only for yourself but for your carer, we can put you up again. We have legal advice, as I spoke about. We have home help. So if you get home from treatment and you're just too tired from all the chemotherapy or radiotherapy, we'll have people that can come in and can clean the house or do the gardening and those kind of things. We have direct financial assistance. Not many people know this, but the cost of cancer obviously is huge. So we can provide help directly for individual families to pay bills, to do any of those kind of associated expenses that come up when you can't work, maybe because you're going through treatment. So there's a whole range of things that we do. In the advocacy space, I think it's also the thing that we do that so few people know about.
Yep.
If you think about smoke-free pubs and clubs, banning solarium, bowel screening funding, last year with the palliative care funding, all of those campaigns were Cancer Council campaigns that were run by locally trained volunteers. In the next 12 months, we'll be heading into the next state election in 2019. We're running what we call our Saving Life campaign. And our three big issues that we'll be working on with volunteers right across the region is access to lymphedema services. We know that if you need medical garments, they're really expensive, lymphatic drainage after cancer. And a lot of people after surgery will have the lymph nodes taken out, causes swelling and really painful discomfort. How do people get treatment for that? We'll also be working on tobacco control. So right now in the Hunter, what we know is that if you go to school, it's much easier to access a packet of cigarettes close to a school than it is a loaf of bread. Now, that's crazy. And it's about time we had a tobacco licensing scheme, don't you think? You need a license to sell alcohol. Anyone can sell tobacco. That needs to change. And the last one we'll be working on is junk food advertising. So, you watch sport nowadays and every kick and every try is brought to you by junk food. And why do they do that? Because it works. And we would like to see fat-free TV. As a parent, I'm sure, all of us have the same experience. You know what it's like when kids are bombarded by that stuff and they just want that junk food. It can make it so difficult to get healthy fruit and veg into kids' diets. We would like to take away one of those barriers, which is the amount of volume of advertising that people see during those kids' TV watching hours.
Wow. That's a lot, and I didn't know.
I can keep going if you like, but I'll stop.
Wow. How does the community get involved with Cancer Council?
So, look, there's a number of ways. Almost anything that people want to do, if they want to give back to their community, they can do through Cancer Council. Some people want to come and just have fun at our events, so they come and volunteer for things like Stars of Newcastle, which is just incredible. It's a great event. I reckon it's one of the best events going. So, other people want to come in and just get work experience. We have a volunteer here, Robin Collin, who works in the Charleston office every Monday. She has done for 5 years, doing our invoicing and our receiving and our accounts. Incredible. But she loves the way that she can give back and just walk in, do her job. Others want to get more involved in research. So we have a consumer panel who supports the scientists to look at the research applications that we get and say, okay, this might be really good science, but what are the community priorities about the things that we should be funding right now? So really, any way that people want to get involved, whether it's to be social, to have a good time, to get work experience, internships, Cancer Council is a great place to start, and so we can encourage people to get along. Of course, our fundraising, I guess the most important thing, whether people are doing a head shave or coming to Relay or buying a daffodil, is to know that all that money stays local. Only 2 weeks ago, we announced $2 million extra funding for the University of Newcastle for Professor Jennifer Martin's research, which is about how do we individualise chemotherapy testing to make sure that individuals who have chemotherapy are getting the right dose for their body. If you think about it, everyone's different sizes. Why should we be adjusting dosage based on metabolism, body weight, size, mass, all those things? So, it's world-leading research funded by local fundraisers, conducted by researchers here in Newcastle.
That's awesome.
Couldn't be prouder.
Yeah, that's really good.
Sure.
You have a campaign at the moment in the bus stops with your volunteers. Can you talk to me about that? Because I've noticed them and I'm like, oh, what's that?
It's our Thank You Newcastle campaign. Our volunteers, honestly, I am staggered by what they do for Cancer Council and for the cause. We're always looking for ways to give back and to thank them publicly. And so actually it was an idea in the office here with a few of the team that we wanted to really publicly showcase the faces of Cancer Council in Newcastle. So we had a photo shoot, we brought them in, we made our volunteers feel a little bit special, hopefully, and by surprise then put them all up around our outdoor advertising around Newcastle. So if you're driving around Newcastle at the moment, you'll see Thank You Newcastle signs, and all of those faces, if they haven't been graffiti too bad, are our local fundraisers, volunteers, admin volunteers, really the people behind the scenes that you don't normally see that make Cancer Council what it is.
That's amazing. And it's such an important thing. I think we're not very good sometimes at thanking the volunteers because we're so busy. So it's a beautiful way to be able to recognise them, and they would feel very appreciated, and their friends would see it, and it would be, it's really.
And it was really nice over Christmas to see volunteers on Facebook taking selfies with their family, with their big ad and stuff, because they are the heroes of the city. You know? They give back, and they should be recognised.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
This is Celebrating Services. Thank you, Shane, for being here. If you need more details about Cancer Council Hunter Central Coast, click the link below and you can
join us.
Yes. Thanks. He's cute though. Right, so I'll just start.
Okay. I love it.
Ugh. Where am I? Cancer Council, Shane Connell, Regional Manager.
That's me.
Happy place.